Hello friends, this is Music Man from his man cave, and now we're going to talk about stupid with money. The next thing we're going to talk about is an edumacation. You ready? Because here we go. Let's talk about it right now. Hello, Music Man from his man cave. And how important is an education? Well, it's the one thing that no one can ever take away from you unless they shoot you in the head or hit you with a shovel and scoop out your brains. But it's very important to you make sure that you get an education. And I will share a couple of stories. One of them is that I in high school got good grades, and I also you won't believe it, but I could run like the wind blows. Looking at me now, you wouldn't think that I could, but I was extremely fast. One of the fastest sprinters in the state. I could even keep up with some of those black kids, if you can imagine that, and they're fast. And so, yeah, there's a time that this body could run a 10.3 second 100-meter dash. Now I had myself timed, and I can run a 13 second 100-meter dash. But the bottom line is with education, there's a lot of ways to get into college. I got a full ride track scholarship because of that. I had a friend who started in a junior college. He's an engineer now, and then he got a scholarship to go to engineering school, and then from that they encouraged him to get a master's degree, and now he's making six figures. So one of the worst things that you can do is say, I'm not smart enough, I shouldn't do it, I shouldn't get an education. And then when I got my, after I got my teaching degree, BA in education with a concentration in music, I came and they wanted me to, they wanted me to help out at the church as a youth pastor. So when I did that, I worked for a pastor that insisted that I get a degree in ministry and theology. And so through correspondence, I would order, and these books would come in, and I would get up at 5, 6 in the morning with my cat, you know, purring and beside me as I was reading. My cat, we had a ritual, my cat Tucker. And I would study and write expositions and send back the test, and it was amazing how fast 3 years went by. And now I also have a minister's license. And so, was it hard? You bet. Was it extremely time-consuming? No, not when you take it day in and day out. You know, and I also enjoyed the studies. So if you enjoy what you're studying, so find something that you really enjoy, and then get a degree in it. Now also, when you get an education and you get a job, like I have a job now, I have a good job, I enjoy it, I'm teaching exactly what I want to teach, music. Make sure that you develop skills and assets that are valuable to where you work. So here's an illustration of what I can do. I am very handy with technology. So a lot of times, there's a lot of teachers that struggle with the new Blu-rays, the new DVDs, computers. I'm not afraid of computers. I'll jump right in. And I will tell them, a lot of times it has a virus and it needs to be taken somewhere, and the virus needs to be taken out of it. I don't have that kind of skill, but they, you know, and I also have no problem taking computers apart and fixing them and putting them back together and putting in a hard drive or giving it more memory or whatever I need to do. Whenever I am very skilled with sound systems, and so I understand how sound systems work. I had a guy that was a genius with sound systems. He'd go around and he ran sound for rock bands and big gigs and whatever. And so I just watched what he did, and you know, when there was sound applications needed, and I stood over and watched over his shoulder and watched what he did and watched what all the dials meant, and I picked up on it pretty quick. Now I'm not a great sound guy, but I know how to do decent sound because I paid attention to him. To be a true sound engineer, it takes a life of skill, and I now know how to run these big mixers. and I know how to run amps, and I know how to deal with microphones. I prefer Sennheisers. And Shure microphones are also very good. And so all these things is padding my portfolio for things that I can do. At the middle school that I teach and the high school that I teach, whenever they have a problem with sound, who do they come to? Me. And they say, how do we fix this? And I come in and I do it instantly, and they're like, wow, you know. So most of the time when you do the things that you're there to do well, that's not really too impressive to your administrator. But when you will step out of your box and you will help out with things that are outside of your job portfolio, then that's impressive to your boss. That's the things that they remember. Like whenever they want to do a show using like some kind of Ike projector or something and through a computer, and they need sound coming out of the computer and stuff, they can't figure this stuff out. And so they call me, and I find ways to hook it up through the big sound system and all that, and they're very pleased and they're very impressed. And so there's demand for me there. And I do it for free. But really, in the long run, it will pay off huge dividends. When they're looking at cuts and they're looking at who to get rid of, they're going to think, oh my word, it's not, if they're looking at choir and band and orchestra, they're going to think, oh, we can't get rid of them, because then who's going to help us out with sound? You know, Ted, you know, does that. Or Ted came over and helped me out with my computer when I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure out how to use Infinite Campus or whatever. I'm constantly helping teachers. Or he came over and helped me hook up my DVD player to, you know, and just make sure that you use your skills to be a blessing to other people, and you're going to do very, very well. So education. First of all, never stop learning. Continually watch. When we had our bathroom completely redone, I was annoying and I didn't talk, but I stood and watched exactly what they were doing and how they were doing it. And could I do it? You bet I could do it. Could I do it as good as them? No way. The way they did that, and they were putting those tiles down, and they were masters of it. I'd have to carefully, you know, and how the cutting them and everything. Sometimes they wouldn't do it quite right, and they'd have to throw the tile aside. So I can do that. So never limit yourself on what you're able to do, and that way it will make it harder for them to let you go. Now also, here's the deal. The school district does decide finally that they need to cut the arts, and I'm looking for a new job. Well, another job that I can take now is I can take a church, because I kept my credentials up to date. It wasn't easy. I had to go before a board of men that were know their stuff in theology, and I had to memorize all the scripture, and I had to tell them all the things that, you know, so they knew I wasn't a wackadoo. And so the thing is, it's not easy, but it's beneficial. And I continue to increase my education, so I'm a better music teacher. I continue to go to sight reading workshops. I continue to go to classes that teach me how to be a more effective teacher. And I think that is very, very important. I would take a church probably until I retired, and then I think about this. I can teach piano and voice lessons to get them ready for district if I step out of that. And I know I won't make a lot of money at that, but because self-employment tax is high, but I'm diversified. If something happens where I lose my job, it's not Panicsville, and it's not, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? So my advice on education is get several degrees, be able to do a lot of things, and also take courses on being handy, working on cars, changing your own brakes, knowing how to do basic things, know how to change your own belts, know how to change your radiator hoses, know how to change a thermostat, things like that you can do. Any of those skill sets that you get will pay huge money for you later on. Like I said in my other blogs or in my other videos, I've stood over people and watched them, or I've had them help me, and I'm actually learning from them and learning their skills. And what's wrong with that? Never stop learning. Music Man from his man cave saying, the best thing you can do if you want to have a sound financial future is get an edumacation. Signing off. See ya.